is JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's February 12th, 2025. Looking out at Kent Peak from yesterday. Hope you've been enjoying all that powder skiing out there because we got more powder on the way. A storm's going to start tomorrow. We'll get into that after this. And if you're still enjoying this broadcast, we ask you to do a one-time donation, or even better, sign up for that monthly sustaining membership to keep this going. And first thing to talk about is these really cold temperatures this morning. Going to be even colder when you throw in a little bit of light wind and humidity. With that, we are negative across the board this morning. We were like negative 8 to 15 in the Wood River Valley. Up in Stanley in the Sawtooth Valley, we're at negative 31. So really cold start to the day, and those high temperatures aren't really going to budge much. Looking at the big system we have coming in, we got an area low pressure that is starting to amplify out in the Pacific, and we got this long fetch of moisture. I shouldn't say very long. This is not that long of a fetch, but a good fetch of moisture that's going to be coming in as a weak atmospheric river tomorrow afternoon through pretty much Saturday morning. So that's the storm that we'll be tracking, and it's looking really good compared to how it did 2 days ago. I think it shifted a little bit the axis and is more focused up towards the Wood River Valley. Looking at the HRRR model here, you can see it starts picking, or snowfall starts around noon tomorrow. We got a nice band coming in. This is going to start out as a warm front. Whenever you have a really cool pocket of air and warm air coming in behind it, it just sets up nicely for a warm front. And then we're going to finish this off Friday night with a cold front coming through. So winds will pick up throughout the day on Thursday, and it'll start to be a little bit more convective. As you can see, this is the farthest run we have for the HRRR, but these models are showing lots of energy coming our way. This I thought was pretty funny this morning. The guys out of Pocatello this morning. This is an atmospheric river event of massive proportions, except for the northern portion of the forecast area. So the Sawtooths aren't going to get as much. Where the Wood River Valley basin will absorb most of the punishment. So pretty cool. We will going to get the brunt of it down in the South Valley area. This is looking at our storm totals through Friday evening. It's going to be even a little bit more in the Fairfield or the Soldier Mountains, Western Smokys. They're looking like they're going to be in the 18 to 24 foot or 24 inch range. But you can see in South Valley, in the valley and the foothills, looking like getting 8 to 12 inches, 16 in the mountains around Haley. And Baldy's going to be picking up some pretty good amounts too. Let's get into some of the chances, actually. I think this is kind of one way of looking at it. So the darker the color, the more likely it is that we're going to get 4 inches. You can see the valley, most of the valley is that way until we get to the 8-inch range. So definitely a high likelihood we're going to pick up greater than 6 inches. Once we start getting to 8 inches, it's more speckled into the mountains. So these are the Boulders, the Pioneers, and the Western Smokies over here. And then 12 inches, a lot less, but still kind of to those high elevation points. Looking at the day-to-day break, this is going to start around noon on tomorrow, Thursday. You can see we're going to pick up by Friday, or by 5 p.m., 5 to 6 inches in Haley. So it's going to make traffic pretty slow on the evening commute home. And then much more in the mountains around. And then that picks up a little bit overnight as that cold front starts to come through. and continues to deliver a little bit more snow to the northern spots, but still pretty well isolated to the South Valley. And then Friday morning, you can see that it's going to start to peter out, or Friday during the day, it starts to peter out quite a bit. All right, so what else did I want to talk about? Let's get into the GFS 500 millibar chart. So this is our area of low pressure coming in. It doesn't have a super big long fetch of the atmospheric moisture, but you can see it's got a pretty big tilt of southwest flow. So that's going to dive into all that warm, moist air. That's going to really help with the snowfall amounts. And that's going to dissipate Friday and kind of move onshore and just kind of peter out before we get this high pressure ridge building on Saturday. Some nicer weather, and then Sunday into Monday we got a little bit kind of leftovers coming through with westerly flow. This kind of maybe shows it a little bit better of what's going on with that. Looking at how much moisture is out there, you can see that low is developed here and really just starts pulling in that Pacific warm moisture and that southwest flow. And it is looking like this is more further to the north. That's the difference between 2 days ago. This model is pretty much just showing it go through Southern California and almost go like in a west to east track. Now we're on a southwest to northeast tilt, so that's going to line it straight up towards South Valley. The difference in this is it's with the atmospheric river, it's calling it anywhere from 1 to 2, and we just don't have the duration. So with atmospheric rivers, you need the magnitude of how much water vapor is available, but also how many days that vapor is going to be overhead. So we don't have really long duration, so this is going to be classified as a weak one, as opposed to our last one, which was an AR3, and lasted about, I mean, it snowed for 5 days, but I think as far as an atmospheric river, it was like 3 or 4 days. So not as long as the last one, but sure going to pack a little bit of a punch for the short term. Looking at Haley, we're going to pick up, this is the MBM model, so just another different way of looking at this. About 7 to 8 inches with 0.6 inches of SWE. This is looking for at Baldy, picking up 8.5 inches. Pretty good density there. It's going to be quick math, maybe around 8%, maybe a little bit less than that. So we got lots of that cool air still in place. So going to be light, fluffy snow at Baldy. Going to be a good day of skiing tomorrow afternoon and into Friday, wherever they haven't groomed it. Soldier Mountains are going to get whomped with this one, so Soldier Mountain might be the place to go this weekend. I think they open up on Friday, so you're going to have about 1.5 feet of new snow there. It's going to be untouched. Bogus Basin is going to be picking up 1 foot to maybe 1.5 feet. There's quite a bit of SWE going to be hitting that, so 1.2 inches. If the temperatures stay cold, that could be pushing 1.5 feet. So another good storm coming through the valley.